we're recording. We'll see if this lasts for an extended period of time. Oh, before we start with this, I forgot to ask. This is by no means any commitment, but I'm just trying to get an idea how many of you think you'll be taking the summer capstone. Do we have any plans to do it?
What's summer capstone?
It's the part 2 of this class, and we need 13 people to run it. So if we don't have 13, we're not going to run it. So I'm just trying to get an idea. So we have
What's
2.
the timeline?
It's an evening class again. I think it's maybe 6 to 8, but it's evening. So okay. So just raise your hands, and if you don't do it, it's not a problem. But
It's a maybe.
So as usual, we'll be maybe, we'll see. It's hard to get an answer because it's right now we don't have enough, it looks, but we might. So we'll talk about it. All right. Thank you.
Is there another section of this class?
There is a second part to this class.
I mean, but is there another? Are we the only 162 this quarter?
Yes. Yeah, it's the only one. Okay, so I thought it sounds like you all have already had an opportunity to explore the documentation, and maybe we can look at some of the methods that we have been using here. And so, for example, I'll use some methods actually from the homework. So get shared preferences. Okay, so we learn here, we have been using the get shared preferences to get, we have been passing in 2 parameters, a string and an int mode. And so here is some more information. Wait, I just lost it. What happened here? On top of my search. Here we go. So it tells us that we take a string name and an int mode, and it's my pointer. Just a second here. So retrieve and hold the content of the preference file name, returning shared preference through which you can retrieve and modify its values. The name, so the parameters is a string, desired preferences file. If a preferences file name does not exist, it will be created when you retrieve an editor. And then the mode, there are 3 different modes. Mode private is the one we have been using, and you can see that they map the constants that they map to an int, which is why we're allowed to do this. Yeah.
Do you want to dim the lights a little bit?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Let's see here. How is that?
Yeah. Thanks.
So, for example, mode private the default mode where the created file can only be accessed by the calling application, right? World readable, deprecated, world writable, deprecated. So they have updated their code base and documentation so that the only thing you can really do is make it available to the application, because it's probably not safe. It was probably exploited by malicious attempts potentially to be able to do anything else except have it as mode private. Shall we look at maybe one more? Let's see. Was there a particular method or anything we did that was confusing to look, to research, or? How about on editor action listener? So it's an interface, and this is the method that we are told we need to implement, right? So if we don't implement on editor action, we get errors because it's on editor action listener is an interface, and it's going to, it's an abstract. You're returning Boolean, and it takes a text view, which is the view that was clicked. So they're connected with the widget that was clicked. Action ID, identifier of the action. And we have been using a couple of different actions here. And then the event. If triggered by the event key, this is the event, otherwise this is null. And you can see by the scope of the documentation that there is simply so much of it, and then you can further look at different API levels, right? So this is quite a monumental task to go through all of this. Yes?
For the what kind of strange to me is that for the action listener, the OnPause and the on-resume methods? You know?
This has to do with the shared preferences.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So for example, let's look at one of these on resume. So it's probably worth pointing out that we have the Java hierarchy here with the same as we learned in our Java class, with the root object, the root class, superclass of all classes is the object, right? And then from here they start getting their specific subclasses for Android. Let's see, where is OnPause? So here are the three methods. Actually, we should probably read this. And is everyone clear now what an activity is?
It's a page.
It's the page, the screen or the page, if you will, however you want to call it. Okay, and activity classes take care of creating a window, so it's your window if you wish. While activities are often presented full screen, they can also be presented in other ways. And there are two methods almost all subclasses of the activity will implement, because our class always extends activity, if you notice in the code, right? Our custom activity, tip calculator or temp, whichever it is, extends activity because it has to inherit from the activity. And therefore, it has to implement onCreate. And is everyone clear what onCreate does at this point? Damien?
Yes.
You can answer the question.
It's basically kind of like the main method. It's like what's going to be the initial code.
It's kind of like the main method. I think that's helpful to say. So it's where you start your activity. So the onCreate is, as you say here, where you initialize your activity. Most importantly, here is where you usually set the content view with the layout resource. So this is where you connect your layout in XML with your Java, right? And you use find view by ID to get the IDs for the widgets that you'll be using. And OnPause is where you deal with the user leaving the activity, and then OnPause is tied with onResume. So you OnPause, you do something, and then on resume, you bring back the values so that they're preserved. Okay, well, I think that's enough. I mean, there is a lot more, obviously, but essentially, maybe when we learn a new method, maybe we'll just get into a practice of always coming back here to do some research and see the description, the official description in the documentation. So next, what I thought we would do is add a couple logging functions. So I'm opening the tip calculator activity. Hookup. It doesn't really matter which one we use, but go ahead and open. If you have the tip calculator activity handy, we can work from the same one, but you can do the same in a different file. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Is it the same one that you have in modules that says chapter 5? Or is it?
No, the chapter 5 is something different.
Okay.
I'm using one of the one from chapter 3.
Okay.
So just open one that you worked with in class, perhaps. Okay, so to work with the log and the toast, we need to import them. And that's what we're going to do here. Import, and of course you can import them later. Android util.log. And we are also going to import Android widget toast. Aaron, did you find the name of the new toast? Did you have time to look for that? I'm sorry, snack bar. Okay. All right. For now, we'll stay with the toast.
It's a little easier.
If you're ready, you can show demo later, I guess, but I'll show this for now. So, I mean, that's actually pretty easy. Okay, so let's go in the onCreate method and right at the end of it, we're going to call log dot. And remember, there's from last time, there are 4 different methods and they have different colors. So we're using the D for debug, and then we pass it a couple parameters. The first one is a tag, which we need to create. And secondly is the message. So our message is going to be on create executed. And this is how we trace our code where we are. And so we need to define tag with our instance variables. So I should have done this before, but so we need to go back out of above on create. So these are our instance variables here at the top of our activity. And then here we're going to add a private static final string tag. And then usually the tag tags the current activity. It doesn't have to, but that's what it usually does. So it's going to be, in this case, in my case, is the tip calculator activity. And then we can also call it from, we'll call it from all the methods we have here. So we'll do the same from the OnPause. We are in the same activity, but now we are in OnPause. Execute. And on resume. Okay. Here's my heart. Let's see here. So in the onEditor action, I'm going to add it the other way. The toast is going to just pop up, and we're going to look at this in a minute. So toast.make. So the toast is a static class. Need to define it though, just a second. Toast.make text. The context, which we describe as this action ID. Length, toast.length. It can be longer with commas. For sure, different. Okay, let me minimize this for a second. It's hard to see. So I need to start my emulator real quick. You do too, probably. So we'll be looking for the log output in the window, in the logcat window, and for the toast in our emulator when it comes up. So sorry I didn't start it earlier. It's going to take a moment. Those of you who already have your emulator up, did you see any?
It's not saying anything, but it's not like exactly correct.
So the toast was on the text view, right? So it should have shown up when you clicked on the which text view. Calculating trade. So it should have been
On the calculated and this one.
well, that's the method. Which text view did you click on? So you don't really have, it's a text edit.
Right. So it won't work on this one.
Oh, we can make it work. I'm just trying to figure out which is the text edit that is referred to in your on editor action.
Oh,
So let's scroll down.
okay.
Do you have an editor action in this?
Text view. Text view.
Okay, so scroll. Oh yeah, here we go. So here it is. And
I don't know whether the eyes are print, but some things have been staying up in view so much today. More than normal.
so when you enter your
When I enter
number, it
it
should
in,
show. Let me try this here and
yeah,
I'll map
yeah.
it. Just
Yeah, actually, it did come up on the emulator.
yeah.
Pull up the toast.
There's just a second, I'm just changing something real quick. Oh, it has to. I moved the toast under the percent so that it's easier to see who is going to trigger it. But there you go. Let's see if this will work. Okay, so here is the toast. So I moved the toast, and let me magnify it a bit. You can put it anywhere, obviously, that's the idea, but I put it under the minus, under the tip percent minus. And so if you do that, then, or maybe I'll just do this. Oh, I don't want to run it again, but you can see that if you click here, this is the toast. Do you see this little button at the bottom? Christina, do you see it? Okay, that's why you look like you didn't. Okay, watch here. Do you see this now?
No, okay.
Okay. And just one. So I'm going to make it, this was the short length. I'm going to make it long length so that it can stay there a longer time. And then we'll say this is the toast. Then we need to look for those log statements. Let me just reload real quick. Okay. I just saw the log output and then it started again, so. Okay, so if you take a look up here, so I'm entering some amount, and my toast is tied with a negative, with a minus, so this is the toast. And it stays longer because we set it to length long instead of short. So let me, did it work for everyone or no? Okay, I'll take a look. Just wanted to show you, here is our log output. So it comes along together with other messages from Android, and it's going to show up, and we know where we are. OnCreate was executed, and OnResume was executed, and nothing happened in between. So these come from our adding the log statements in our code. So take a look. Oh, and I don't know if I made this clear. So you need to go into Android Monitor tab, and you want the logcat window. This is the window for seeing the errors and the log output. Okay, so let me take a look. Is there any? Yeah, I can push that. Did you import it?
Yes. It was just the two layer.
So you put it out, so it's because of where you put it, not because of the flow. So Control X, line 130. It has to go in the case statement, otherwise the inside a switch statement, you can just put something. So you can put it under the -%, or if you want to, press return. And this should go exactly the same as the one. Any other issues with the logs and the toasts?
You move the screen. You move the screen so it doesn't show the toast. The
Oh, I'm sorry. So you want to see the code?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right there, yeah.
Yeah, stack bar is still. And use it
You want to show it?
you have to use it for me to
So maybe this is very useful. So I want to. Have you got a question?
But he was not down. It's definitely not, like, it'll work fine, but if this one came after I click it on new, I do 60. It'll work right in the beginning, but then if I subtract or plus, it won't change.
Okay.
And I just can't see why, because I see it.
What do you mean it changed?
So, isn't if I up the percent, wouldn't that go up?
Oh,
Why
so
is it not
you just have some
Oh, is it because it's the round?
Yeah. I mean, 50% of the $60 bill is $90 total, right?
Right, but wouldn't, if the percentage go up, wouldn't that the total change too?
Oh, it's about to change when you do that.
When I percent them?
Hmm.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, all right, so is this like what?
Yes.
Okay, so you guys are in the C part. So, every time one of these buttons gets
Yeah.
pushed, right? So,
Percentage would change, but
Then
then
you
the
go-
total would change.
right, well, you go like, all that happens here.
Right,
So if, basically what happens is every time you push one of those buttons, this is how the probably
Yeah.
gets called, and this sets all widgets,
Okay.
right? What also happens is, the percent total either decreases or increases, but that doesn't matter a whole lot because this will deal with it. So this increases, this increases, looks right, this is right, this is right. It's just the total.
right. So,
So total
Okay,
text
and
view,
also,
set text.
when you have a lot of output, as we usually do, you can search here. So first of all, you can change the error messages, which helps. It's like a filter. And you can also search for a particular string. Let's say I wanted the onCreate execute. Then if you put this here, and that's going to isolate only, or filter rather, only the message that you want, that you're looking for. So you can use this log level and search as well. All right, is it working here? Okay.
Really quick again, where you put this.
Yeah. Are we clear that we can put a toast anywhere?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've decided to put it magnify. It's in the switch. It has to be part of the cases in the switch statement. It can be outside of the cases because then you're going to get a syntax error. So if you put it like here, then you're probably getting a red syntax error. It needs to go under the cases. Ted, is this working for you now? Okay. Anyone else? All right.
You can also put it under the plus too.
Oh, you can put it anywhere. We can actually put a couple. We don't just have to have one. This was just for illustration purposes. This is the other toast. I think it's running. Yeah, there we go. So now we have two. Okay, here we go. The moment. All eyes up front. Don't miss the 3 seconds or 5 seconds. And there's the other one. All right. All right. So enough about debugging. I guess I should mention that Android Studio comes with a debugger like the one we have used with Eclipse. So you can use the features, insert breakpoint, look at the variables, and do all this as well. So next I'm going to move forward with, and this is the code. This is the Java code with the debugging statements as well. Let's look at some new material. We'll take a break, and then it's going to be lab time. That's what I was thinking. I just want to see if we're still recording. So it looks like the same as in last quarter, now the recordings seem to work. Of course, I didn't bring the mic tonight, so can't get everything right. Sorry. Sorry, something else. Next time there will be a mic here, and there will be a recording going, and
There'll be other issues.
there'll be other issues. Exactly. Of this we can be sure. Okay, so we are familiar now what are layouts and widgets, and we just want to expand our knowledge because they're different. There is more than one layout you can have and more than the widgets that we have used. So let's learn about the other options you have, and then in the lab time you can use to maybe select some of them to play with. Okay, so we have so far worked with a relative layout because this is the layout that comes as the default layout. And in the relative layout, all the widgets are relatively positioned to each other. Then there is the linear layout, which can be, it's a one line and you can make it horizontal or vertical. A table layout is presented as a table, and a frame layout is going to stack the widgets on top of one another. And there are also a couple other layouts you may hear about which have been deprecated, and they're the grid and the absolute layout. So we're not going to look at them anymore, and we're not going to use them because they have been deprecated.
Is one of them most often used, like is the relative layout more often than the other?
Yes, I mean, it really depends on what you want to do. It's the default, so if you just go with the default behavior, then you use the relative. All right. So here is a list of widgets. So let's see, which ones are we familiar with at this point? I think. I think we have only used these three. Is that correct? So far? Okay. And so there are also some other options, and a lot of these are going to look similar to if you have HTML forms. So the checkbox allows you to select multiple options. Then the radio button allows you to select one of several options, only one. The rating bar is exactly that. It's going to allow you to rate items. Let's see. The spinner is a drop-down menu, as you might know it in HTML. So with the drop-down, you can select one or multiple selections. Let's see what else we have. If you want to display an image, you're going to have an image view. You can create an image button with a background of an image. Date picker, time picker, calendar view, a scroll view, because you have a limited real estate on the page, allows you to scroll, gives you a scroll bar so you can scroll along. And a web view allows you to display web content, and you need to make some changes to the settings of the permission settings so that you can actually use it. And let's see what else. Progress bar, and then the seek bar is the one that allows you to grab the bar, and then you can decrease or increase the amount. So we're going to redo the tip calculator with a seek bar so that instead of clicking on a button, you can just use the seek bar to drag it and change the amount of the tip. So there is a hierarchy, of course, of the different views and then layouts and widgets, and this is what it looks like. The view is the superclass of all of the following, and then they break down into a text view, which has the edit button and check view. We have the progress bar, image view, and then the frame layout works with a scroll, date picker, time picker, calendar, linear layout, and then you can have a compound button such as a check box or radio button, but there's still subclasses of the button class. So this is the hierarchy. Here is a linear layout with a vertical orientation, and it's going to have two buttons in it. So we specify the orientation, and then we have the two. The linear layout, I think, is the easiest to use probably. So you just put them one after the other, and it's really just follows the sequence of inserting. So one after the other. If you have horizontal, to be the other direction. So here is a horizontal orientation, and so the weight, if you have if buttons have no weight, then they're going to take like the default space based on how much text they have, and you can assign them weight and allow them to spread out further in your frame. So if you have a weight of 1, that means that they're both taking up 1 unit of the available space. See the difference? I'm not sure why that was the way they went about doing this, but
Do you know if you can do like percentages or?
I think they have to be numeric values, so I don't think they have the relative. We just the way that the relative device size is handled in Android is not the same as CSS. So you can use the gravity property to move your other attribute to move the different widgets in a different position on the page. So center allows you to center them. Here is a table layout, and it has a couple, 2 rows and 4 columns. And you can specify the span, so you can make maybe one column, let's say, to take more than the space it would have by default. So in this case, embedded text is going to take a layout span of, we saw it there, but you can see how it counts to 3, right? All right, well, let's take a break at 8 o'clock and then a little more lecture, and then there will be lunchtime. See you in 10 minutes.
Are we getting our assignment?
Like,
I already published the new assignment.
Did it just go just before class?
No,
Stupid
I
man.
did
Right.
it this afternoon, so make sure that you can see it, please.
No, of course not. Sorry. Okay.
We're going to definitely continue with this chapter on Thursday, so.
It's not recognizing the cell, so the cell says you don't see it.
Why is it,
There.
why do you,
Yeah.
why do you
Is
have
that-
the Sanchi list?
The timestamp
I don't-
text you were talking about, is that the same as the special
Right,
topic or
because
another
that's
section?
the problem.
It's a, yeah, it's a special topic,
Yeah.
it's ITC 298. I don't know why
Right.
Do we
I
have
just
to go
thought.
with the
I just have to have taken this one, I think that's the
Celsius, right?
requirement.
Okay,
Say, okay,
Yeah.
we have a Celsius,
Well,
we
there
Yes.
it is.
have a variable called Celsius,
yes,
and then you want Celsius text view set text, right?
right.
And then something like that.
See, so I thought staring out values, but someone types it.
Yes.
Okay, good,
Right.
all right. But I
Right.
see what
Well,
you're
that's,
saying,
so that's,
yes.
that's the value of.
Pretty
the
much a
text.
total, yes, all right. All right, that's, I was getting a float error. That was probably it. Yeah. Huh? Does that look good to you?
Yeah.
Or does anything look wrong?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good. Okay, go ahead, go ahead.
Check your class.
Yes, awesome. Thank you. Oh, hmm.
So in your layout,
Right.
make sure that you're, say your edit text.
The Celsius.
Well, the input type.
What do you
So
think?
the edit text, you want to say your input type. Right. The line where you
Right,
set.
it's here somewhere. Hold on.
No, it's right there, set right.
Okay, and then you wanna, what are you trying to do?
You want to go into your, now you can either do it in the text or you can do it over here.
And-
Sometimes it's just easier to do it in text. So you would, okay, so you do have. input type. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is it because I did on my computer at home? How'd you do
It's
that?
just, you had it set to only.
How did you change that over there?
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Oh,
already
okay,
fixed,
because I
so-
can't get that to work at home. Okay.
You're right, so.
Yeah. Awesome. So now it should work even though.
Yeah, so we got 32 stays there.
Oh. Okay. Perfect.
This we don't expect to get. Should be. Oh, one thing we gotta do is get a lot of decimals here, so. You want to go here and some number format.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, you need some.
Okay. Okay.
It's like.
I know. Mhm.
Celsius.
Let's go a couple more minutes.
Hmm. Um, okay. Is that good enough? Oh, no. Too many decimals. You just want 2 decimal places after.
Well, I mean, that's a huge number.
All right. Really? So,
Right, so, so you have format, we actually need a format sometime here, right?
yes.
So this guy would have to go.
Before the calculations are.
For the calculation,
Okay.
and then reset the text.
Yeah.
Right? You would go set text, format, or I'm sorry, format,
And that displays it, right?
Right.
Okay. Got
Well, that just formats
it. Yeah, the
the
output.
text here. Just format. Oh, it's percent. This would be 2 decimal.
Why would it do if we didn't even mention percent? What?
Good percentage.
Oh. Format.
It's like, yeah.
Is it good?
Decimal.
Decimal, okay. Capital D. Okay. I always forget.
No, skip.
Let me do, let me just do that, yeah. Get integer,
It's just,
get number instance.
or just get
Get instance.
and then inside that, it need parameters. A string.
So, so what do you mean
So it'd be this. So,
Well, it's time to resume, so I just wanted to show you just a few more minutes and then we're open lab time. So I wanted to show you an example. I think maybe we can code this next time. If we start coding this now, it will essentially take up our lab segment, so I don't want to do that. But I would like to show it to you. So this is the display, and it takes forever to actually load this because it's going to the internet. But this is a little setup here that uses the web view widget to display actually the books, a link to the website where you can buy books on the Murk website. I just want to show you a couple little things about it, and maybe next time we can code it. Or maybe if some of you want it, we can work on this now. All right, so let's take a look at this real quick. Okay. So here is the layout. It uses the frame layout, and it has a web view widget and a progress bar. And so what is going to happen is the reason it has the progress bar is because it usually takes a long time or unpredictable amount of time, I should say, for the web page to display in the web view, so then you have a progress bar displaying the progress. Our computer or our connection from the lab was particularly slow, so what happened, it was just displaying it for a long time, but eventually did load the page in the web view. So this is the XML, and again, it uses the progress bar, uses the gravity center again. So what it does is it centered it in relationship to its container, which was the frame. Maybe I'll run it again, although it takes a few minutes. So you saw it loaded. I don't know if it might even not load a second time, but let me run it again, and then you can see the progress bar before it finished loading. So here we go. Let's see. And while it's loading, we can look at the Java code. Make sure it started. Okay, looks like it's working. I think it's trying to run it. All right, well, I'll give it a moment.
Stored somewhere?
I'm sorry?
Must be cached somewhere.
Well, it should relaunch the app before it even gets to the to the website. So the point is that it probably just takes a long time because it has a lot of work to do. So I'll let it do that, and we can look at a couple of different things. One is the Java file. Okay, so in the Java you have the, again in the onCreate, actually let me start from up here. So to work with the web view, you need to import the following. You need the web, they're in the WebKit package, so the web Chrome client, web view, and then we also need the progress bar. So we created the web view and the progress bar, and associated them in the onCreate. And then you need to call the web view get settings, which can, although it has some cautions here, basically because we're going on the web, there are cautions associated with this. And then you create a new web view client, should override URL loading. You set up the progress bar while when the progress bar is 0, then you're going to hide the progress bar. Oh, sorry, not 0, 100. When the progress bar reaches 100, then you're going to hide the bar, otherwise you keep on showing it. And then finally you load the URL in question. So that's the Java code. And one other important point is you have to now look at the manifest file, and you have to add a couple permissions. So you need to give, you need to add this line here, which is uses permission for the internet in order to be able to allow the web view widget to go out. And you want to add the following config changes: keyboard hidden orientation, screen size, to allow the web widget to handle orientation changes. So these are two changes to be made to the manifest. So for this example, we have, for the first time, had to actually add code to the manifest file as well. Let's see what happened with our launch, repeat launch here. Yeah, I don't think this loaded the second time. So what I would like to do is, we can do this example next time together if you like. So right now I'm going to give you lap time, and if you have any questions about your temp converter or anything else, let me know. If you're ready, then you know what I have suggested. Go at the end of the book and do the exercises. There are several different, oh, it's already cached, yeah, I guess. So it's not, it doesn't have to go out again, so it already loaded it. The first time it took forever because it was going out to get it, and now it's cached and it's displaying it in the browser here. So next time we can show you fresh. As you work through chapter 5 and including the homework, keep in mind that we actually haven't learned how to handle events. So some of the widgets that you have added are not actually going to respond to events. We need to do this in chapter 6, right? But there are so many different possibilities to try, so just go ahead and try a certain combination of widgets and layouts. So you can do exercises 5.1 or 5.2 on page 161. You can make copies of this if you like with your phone. Or you can start looking at your homework. Any questions?
did you say the exercises were?
They start on page 161.
So
Closes.